Tony, just the response this weekend, and 3 games in less than 24 hours, I guess. Just do you like the response after Tuesday night?
Yeah, I mean, in particular, Thursday's practice, you could kind of feel it a little bit. I mean, that's not going to – sometimes you say the hay's in the barn, which is half true on Thursday, but also there are some carryover. Some things that go on there will carry over into pregame Friday. Some of the pregame things will carry over into the game. And all that was positive. If anything, in between the double headers, it's your first time doing it. You've won 2 games. You're on your field. Maybe they play best when they're loose. Most guys do, and I'm referring to our team. But it seemed like they were a little too loose at the beginning of that game. But it didn't take long. Back, I hope I'm saying it right, their left-handed starter comes off the mound and pumps his fist because he got out of a big jam. That dude's a competitor. And I think around then our guys realized that they were in deep waters. And so was Morehead State. It was a battle that last game. It's good for us to experience as many of those as possible throughout the year, especially going towards May. But on the whole, good stuff by our guys.
You see from Griffin Merritt, obviously, had the 2 homers in the last game, 3 today.
Yeah, I think, there's I kind of mentioned it in here. There's been days where he's landed on a few and it just wasn't the right day, the way the ball was carrying or the wind. And so he's consistently in the box to me. He's got a plan. His swing is pretty repeatable. He's obviously looking to drive the ball. He knows what the pitcher's doing. He can make adjustments in between at-bats, during at-bats. So he's going to be like every baseball player, in particular hitters. Results will fluctuate a little bit, but you feel good as a coach what you're going to get over the stretch of, call it the season or a week or a weekend, and today obviously was one of the better days for him.
Some of the starters over the last couple of weeks have struggled there in the early innings. What did you see from Burns and Beam today there in the first third of the game?
I don't whatever Burns had going, he needs to put it in a bottle and sell it, because there was a little extra edge there, and maybe it's just a guy getting better. I mean, everybody's got the opportunity to do that, to kind of adjust their dials each week and figure out what they need to do a little bit different to get ready for the game, in between pitches and stuff like that. And he was dialed in. And it also kind of goes to show you, if you're facing good college hitters, you can be as locked in as possible, and even a blip on the radar screen can get you. And, Doe was the same way last night. I mean, those walks, we went back and looked at the video. He's all around the zone. It wasn't like he was a mess out there, or he looked like, not himself or anything like that. But you look at the homer, it's a little wind-aided, but it was just one pitch he didn't throw that well, and it cost him. So you got to compete each inning and treat each one of those pitches like they're equally important. So some guys might look like they're better in the 3rd inning or the 1st inning or the 5th inning, but we've got 3 starters that we know are going to give us a quality start and keep us in the game by the time they leave. And I think our fans and you guys and our coaching staff's confidence in our bullpen is going up, in particular with adding Camden down there.
Yeah, how important was it to see, Sewell take the mound again and, get out of the 2 strikeouts?
You're asking an immature guy that question. I mean, my main sentiment is I was just happy. I was happy, and I thought he would be too when I handed him the ball, and he's out there scowling like he can play middle linebacker for Coach Heupel, which you've seen his frame. He's not going to do that. But he's been ready for a while. He can throw the ball, and just that's a guy that's got a lot of history in this program, and also could have moved on to a lot of different things, including pro ball, and he wanted to be a Vol. So again, I say this sometimes like a parent. I don't think you're supposed to pick favorites, but you got to like Camden, whether you're his teammate, a coach, and then the fans. Based off their ovation, it sounded like they were wanting Camden to get out there for as long as Camden had been wanting to get out there. But now he's in the hopper with those guys, and he's able to rock and roll. I don't think there's much, as it relates to limitations for him.
What's the bullpen as a whole? How much trust do you have in them? They had a great day.
All of them to the point where it's frustrating. Xander and Joyce are down there getting hot. I mean, you've seen what Joyce can do for us, what his brother's doing. His twin is in the pursuit of being in the big leagues. I think he'll follow in his footsteps. Xander, I think, is primed to take on a little bit more of a significant bullpen role for us on the weekends. And they're both down there hot, and they didn't get to pitch. And then I walked by Combsy in the hallway, and we had him down there getting hot in the first game, and decided that was the best time to get Sewell his first action. And then also Lindsey was throwing the ball so well. When the game's that close, you got to be careful about just looking to, get everybody involved as if it was a grade school soccer game. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to win, or if we don't, I got to come in here and answer to you guys. And, Lindsey and Halverson both made it very difficult to take the ball out of their hands today, and that's a good thing.
Said Friday that Kavaris had been so good in practice, and that's the reason he got started. Of course, 2 more starts today. What did you see from him as a whole this weekend, taking advantage of the opportunity?
Yeah, he took advantage of it, but we've talked about this in the locker room, and I don't have the magic formula for who the best guy is. We talked about Tuesday's game on the radio. I think I mentioned it to you guys. I talked about when you win, you did everything right. But I will be the first to admit we've won some games here where I've gone back and it's like, what the heck? What was I thinking doing that? Or we won't do this again this way. It wasn't the best move. So again, when you win, fans, the team, everybody thinks you did everything right. But really inside there's going to be embedded mistakes and different things you're trying. And all along we've talked about trying KT in the lineup because he's got, I don't know what they call it in boxing, he's got the touch of death, I guess. If he can just get it on the barrel, the one last night, that was pretty special. But he can hit it over the fence without even really hitting it. He's just got to touch it on the barrel. So he's a great option for us to just be in the lineup. You might get 3 at-bats that, for whatever reason, look terrible, but if he just touches it, it can go a long way.
What did you see from Dylan Dreiling this weekend, and how did he look so far this year?
He's, to be honest with you, base running has been, for most freshmen, something that he's got to get better at. Defense, he's naturally gifted to run out there and play defense, but there's other things built into the game that it's just a little bit higher level or more complex than high school. It's still baseball. Other little things, but if you talk about just standing in the box, he's been about as consistent from day one as any of our other hitters. And I know he really likes being in the box. He's gotten stronger with Coach Q, so when he impacts the baseball, he's got a little bit more to it. So he's a talented kid, and he took advantage of his opportunities, and there's going to be a lot more, obviously, coming for him.
Tony, I know obviously coaches, every day is kind of its own challenge and its own thing, but when you think about sort of what you had going into the season, where you are now with SEC play coming up and a tough midweek game before that, how much do you think realistically you've learned about this team and what you like and what you want to work on? Yeah,
a lot. That's almost a question for post Tuesday, but we kind of have a weird day in there, a buffer Sunday. So I even said some things about the week or other things to our guys out there. So yeah, if you were going to take a timeout and almost act like that Tuesday game doesn't exist, our non-conference to this point has been incredibly beneficial. Some of you guys still joke about one of the weekends we had last year where it just wasn't very competitive, and some other things that went on. I think we've gotten a lot out of this non-conference is the bottom line. We've gone through some team drama. We've gone through experimenting with a bunch of different guys. We've added a team leader and a key pitcher in Sewell. There's just been a lot go on, and I don't see how it doesn't make our story a little bit better and stronger, or I should just say our group better and stronger as we get into conference play where it's 10 weeks of hell.